I can actually print right to
I've
his,
got the other
right to his
meeting
printer
running at the moment.
up there. I mean,
I'm trying to
I can
get
access
everybody
the
to
computer,
switch
I can
over.
access any of those things.
Okay. So another limitation if we don't buy the program. Doesn't it's $5 a month. That's not too bad. $60 a year. We'll have to
I also
try the
noticed
one
when I exited the
Wayne
meeting,
said
it let me
that,
download the chat.
Bob G recommended that another user group was using.
I guess we should exit from the first one as well, right? I've got both of them running.
See how quickly everybody gets in.
Choose TechSIG. Very good.
Stands in. I'm recording.
Recording in progress.
Say something, Stan.
All right, I
don't hear you. I don't
need
know
to make
why.
a pit stop. I'll be back in just
Let's see.
a very quick minute, okay? And I
Don't
don't see
hear anybody.
Can you hear me?
I don't see
Check my
controls on this
settings.
like I had on the other
Speaker. Ah, that's why. Okay.
one.
Now I should hear you guys.
You hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, active speaker.
Yeah, I hear Stan. You got to really juggle to have two things going at the same time because I had two different streams. I had to turn my video off and my microphone off on the old conference in order to start the second conference on my other screen, which it did. I don't hear Huey.
I was muted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike, if you haven't noticed, to get back at your background on the last one, a hamburger joint around the corner for me has got Krispy Kreme donuts with a hamburger and cheese between them.
Yeah, I know they've been doing all kinds of stuff that just don't seem to make sense, but
That's the emergency room special.
yeah.
diabetic special.
Yeah.
I like Parker's library. Is that a library or no? That's a well. It looks like a pipe
Books
organ.
along the sides, yeah.
Yeah, books along the side, but it looks like a big pipe organ in the center.
I think that's a staircase.
Staircase. Well, yep, that looks like a
Yeah,
pipe.
one of the walk-in closets.
It's a library. We seem to have lost Drew.
Very big library.
Very big library. Yes.
Definitely not the library in Sanford.
I don't have my webcam on because there's not a lot of point until I get my eye surgeries done.
Getting strange sounds. I don't know.
I hear
Does
him,
anybody
too.
else hear that too? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that as well.
Like somebody underwater.
Somebody got a radio on by any chance? Or TV?
Sounds like it's coming from Sean.
Let me mute here and you get.
It's
Little bit of-
muted, don't
Tell me.
worry.
I guess those are the hard drives on my servers.
It's supposed to be solid state, right?
Yeah. Can you loan me some money?
Did Drew make it back on?
Nope.
Don't see him.
Look like it.
This is a neat feature. If you're muted and you just press the space bar, it lets it unmute, and then when you release the space bar, it mutes again.
Zoom is supposed to
Like
do
Zoom.
that, but it doesn't do that for me all the time.
You have
Yeah,
to
'cause it
have
depends on
your
where the focus- depends on where the focus is.
That's
mouse
true.
pointer in the right place.
Yeah. If you're in the chat and you use the space, it's going to give you a space. It's not going to change your audio.
I think Drew's going to give us a demo of his TrueNAS.
If I can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, yeah.
Okay. I don't see anybody right now. I'm waiting for my video connection keeps interrupting.
Yeah, we don't see you either.
I don't have a good, yeah, I'm having trouble getting video. Oh, here we go. Let me see if I can get my video going.
It's Paul, correct? I don't see him on the list of participants. I show 7. Drew, Huey, me, Dick Vogel, Steve Parker, Sean Kane, Jeff Glassman, and Mike Ungerman. How's
Howard is still on the other stream. He's still on the
England's?
We lose everyone?
We're here.
We're here. It's just a meditative moment.
Yeah. And now a moment of silence.
Says Drew is reconnecting.
For those that are in our Central Florida area and others just wish to observe, Friday is National Vietnam War Memorial Day, the 29th, and Mission Barbecue, which is a very patriotic barbecue place, is having free sandwiches for all Vietnam War veterans. All I have to do is show a military ID card of some sort.
Have you had their blueberry cobbler?
Yes, very nice.
Unbelievable.
Yes, very nice. They had a black plate special over the Christmas and New Year's holidays of smoked roast prime rib of beef. Very rare for them. And it was wonderful and very inexpensive compared to prime rib of beef at other state places.
I have one at Mission Barbecue directly across the street from me.
Great.
That's awesome.
Drew is taking quite a long time to reconnect. And I'm still hearing Paul from time to time, which I don't understand because he's not on the list. But not on my machine. Forrest just joined us, and I'm seeing 9 participants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, I see what's going on. I'm on both meetings.
Yeah, you
'Cause
only
I
need
see-
to be on one.
Yeah, I see Paul is there, so he's on the wrong meeting.
I see. So that didn't die out yet.
No, it's still there. So I'm going to exit that one. I thought I did.
That's what it is.
Yep.
So now it's
No.
just me, Jeff Glassman, and you, Paul. So let's see if I can exit. So I'm going to exit out of the first one. Paul,
Make sure
why
Paul
don't you do
knows
the
to come
same and
over.
then but get copy from the link, the chat rather, what Mike sent for the link for the new meeting. Yes, but do make a copy of the link that's in the chat.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can, Drew.
Okay, yeah, I discovered that when I quit out of the meeting, at the very end of the meeting, it offers you the option to save the chat. Only I hit quit
Really?
before I did. When you exit out of the first meeting, it said there was a link for downloading the chat, and I missed it before I killed the software. But right
Paul,
now,
can you see the
my
chat
computer
and
is
the
very
link?
shit.
Can you do a cut and paste of the TRNPAP9YEK? If you copy that, then you just put that in your browser and you'll be in the other meeting. I can't exit out of the meeting. I can only exit for all. So if I do that, Paul, if you don't have that.
Paul's in this one now.
He is? Okay, so
Yes.
I will close the other one. End meeting for all. Yes.
I'll be right back.
And let's see if I can.
Ending meeting for all. Chat, I can view and download, I see. And
Yeah, do the download.
yeah,
Unfortunately, I missed that. I just closed it out.
Okay, so now I'll go back to the other meeting.
We see your screen, Drew. At least I do.
I
I
see
have
it.
sharing turned on, so I think you guys
I-
are supposed to be.
Yes, I see it.
You see the TrueNAS apps and jails?
Yes,
Yep, it's showing up.
Yep.
All right. So basically, TrueNAS is a company for profit, and they give their software away for free. And then you can decide if you want community-based technical support or paid-for technical support. So the software that I'm running has an has an entry to put a license code in and get technical support, but it doesn't function any differently if you don't have a license and get community-based support. And TrueNAS includes these third-party software in what they call Docker containers, and they're pre-canned machines, and there's over 100 of them, and it has Joplin and Nextcloud, and all of these servers are running. And basically, what I do is my TrueNAS server is, here we go. Let me log in. And my server might be, I need more memory and processor than I have on this machine right now. Let me, you are using an insecure connection. I know that. Let me log on. There we go. All right. So now you can see that I have in the apps tab right now. And you can see I've got the Joplin server, Nextcloud server, a Plex server, the Bitwarden server. These are all basically what you do is you go into this Discover Apps tab and you pick the apps that you want to run and you click install, and 5 minutes later it's installed. And then all you have to do is log on to the server, create your user IDs and pass accounts. They tell you what the default admin user is for each of the servers. And for example, I have, this is the admin console for Bitwarden, or as they call it, Vault Warden. And you can create, this is where you would create a new user and that you could use for your Bitwarden. And so in my software for Bitwarden, I have it pointing as the server to the IP address and port number that the server is running on in the virtual machine. And when I go forward with a production server, be doing basically the same thing. You know, it'll have a fully qualified domain name, and I'll be doing it through the, on the encrypted network. And I'll be the only registered user on the server unless somebody wants to join. It'll have full hardware redundancy, mirrored hard drives in it, and the virtual servers. So it should have high availability.
Is there a way to automate a backup of your data on the Vault Warden?
Well, all of the data is in the virtual machines, and TrueNAS supports snapshots and data recovery and data backup. If you go into the data protection tab, you can schedule snapshots of your server, and that includes, that's the whole TrueNAS server. So that includes the Joplin server and the Bitwarden server and the, all your other servers. And all of the data all of these servers are sitting on an external, will be sitting on an external hard drive that will then be backed up to the cloud, so that all of the data will get backed up to the cloud, and everything will be redundant on dual hard drives, internal and external. And you basically, you go into credentials to set up new users. Under the shares section, I have Windows SMB sharing turned on. It supports NFS and Windows by default for file sharing. And my machine is taxed out right now, so I apologize for the spinning circles. Okay, now you can see Windows SMB server is running, and I can connect to the server from any machine I have and share my files. And the virtualization tab is grayed out. It doesn't let me do anything because it's already running in a virtual machine. And once I get this onto real hardware and out of VirtualBox, I'll be able to create virtual machines that won't have all the conflicts that I'm having on my hardware now. But it's basically just this is the whole GUI. You go into the storage section and set up your hard drives. It supports mirroring and RAID, software RAID out of the box. If you happen to have two drives, all I did was I created two virtual hard drives that were the same size. And when you install the server, it sees the two drives, asks you if you what you want to do with them. And I said, mirror them. And I created disks, and I created a pool. I don't know how to describe what a pool is, because the server, as you can see, is not coming up on the screen. My machine is just too overtaxed right now. But basically, if I can go to that's documentation that you don't need to see. You don't need to see that. This is the hosting site for the Vault Warden. And like I said, when you log on to the server, it says Bitwarden on it. And the Bitwarden clients log right in, and I can, I have all the same functionality that I have when I'm connected to the real Bitwarden server out on the internet. Only I'm going to be doing it all private from going forward. And this is, again, this is the only console that I have that I can show you is the Bitwarden admin console, because it's the only one that's up and running right now. But inside,
You're breaking up, Dwight.
Yeah, unfortunately, your sound is, we can hear about every 10th word you say, Drew.
It may be resources.
in the apps section, if you go into Discover, you basically just pick the app that you want. You scroll down until you find the app that you want. MB server, for example, there is a button here that says install. If I click on that install button, 5 minutes from now, I'm going to have an MB server. You know, that's how easy it is. All you do is click on the install button. And once it's done, I can go into Joplin and it tells me what port it's using. It's on port 30062. Here's a button that opens the web portal. It tells me that the default username is admin at localhost and the password is admin for the default login for the Joplin server. So it gives you the information in here that you need to get logged on the first time. And like I said, I have my Joplin server running. I'm syncing my cell phone and Windows and everything through this virtual machine, and it's cruddy because it's running on a laptop, but it works. So if anybody is interested in setting up their own Joplin server or their own Nextcloud server, it's really easy to do if you have a separate box and you're not running it on your laptop. So does anybody have any questions that I can answer?
No, it looks pretty cool. I've heard a lot of good things about TrueNAS.
If you want to shut down a server, you just click on the button and shut it down. And then when it's shut down, you can shut the server off. It has a you SSH into the server from Windows. So I have a login. This is my home directory on the server in /mnt my data dking when I log in from Windows, and that's how you get to the server. So between an SSH terminal window and the web console is all you need to manage the server. And Proxmox is the server that is the software that I would run when the server boots, and I would be running this Proxmox virtual environment, which is a complete open source enterprise virtualization software platform. That's what the server will boot from. And then I'll run all of the servers individually in there.
Drew, once you have this up and running, you got to leave it up and running, don't you?
Yes. It has to be on a machine running 24/7 if you want to use all of your services. Yes.
Because if you're using something like Joplin, if you shut it all down, you lose all that data, don't you?
Well, you lose the ability to know, because Joplin synchronizes your data to your devices. So if I were out and about and my server were to turn off, all I would lose is the ability to synchronize and update my data. On my phone, I have all of my data, and I don't need to be connected to the server to see it. I only need to be connected to the server to synchronize it.
Okay.
So I have, I only have about 4 or 5 gigabytes of data, and it doesn't really bother the cell phone with I've got 256 gigs on the phone. Only 3 or 4 gigabytes of it are in Joplin. And if I wanted to take up 25 gigs or 30 gigs, it's not a big deal. Joplin, basically, this is what Joplin looks like. And like I said, you can go in here and you can the Evernote software. So what I'm planning on doing is just taking my Evernote notebooks and exporting them from Evernote and then importing them into Joplin. And then they'll be hosted on the server and replicated to each of my machines. And you can share your notes out on the internet. You can send people links. If I want to share a note, I'll be able to publish it. It's an option that you can publish your notes and make them available to other people so that you can, and it's not there if you have it hosted on your own. Right now, all of my data is being synced through Microsoft OneDrive. That's where my data is right now, until I move it into a private server. But it has notebooks. It has a global search function that supports all kinds of operands that Evernote makes you pay extra money for. It OCRs documents and pictures. So if you attach a PDF file, it OCRs all the text. So I can, if I type into the search box, anything that's in an attachment is instantly searchable. And you can have pictures, you can have file attachments. You can add anything you want into here. You can paste files. You click on the little clip, and you can import files from your machine and put them into the database. So it's a really nice program. It really is. I can take any one of these programs and just put it into my database, and it'll sync to all my devices. Now I've got the WinSCP setup program in the database, and it'll sync to all of my machines in less than 5 minutes. So I've been using Joplin a lot more than I've been using Evernote. It has a web clipping tool for your browser, so you can clip web pages just like you can with Evernote. And once I get the server running, I can share any of this information with anybody, because that's what the server provides. So anyway, that's what I've been working on the last few weeks.
That's why my email from you has been kind of sparse.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to learn how to do it all.
Yes, it's been a lot of work, and I've been doing it at the same time that this past month, a friend of mine passed a job opportunity on to me, and a local plumbing company in Sarasota, needed to move off their hosting company and get their website and their email off of a reseller's website. It was a hosting company that had resellers. Companies like hosting companies have resellers, and there's this company called HostTime, and there was this plumbing company bought their web server and their email from the reseller of the hosting company, and then he retired and left them high and dry. And I had to negotiate with the hosting company, and eventually got access to the data and was able to port everything out of get the web server files out, get all the email ported out, and it's now all hosted on GoDaddy. And the plumbing company is happy now, and we're moving on to the website redesign phase of his company. So I've been doing all of that. That's my real job at the same time that I'm doing all of this stuff. That's the job that pays the bills, that gets me buy all the toys. And then I set up iDrive. I'm not logged in right now, but if I were logged in, you could see where I could manage the backup software. You basically, when you install iDrive for Linux, iDrive is they did a spectacular job of creating their, I'm not going to be able to log in right now, but they did a great job of automating their Linux backup. And my friend who's on iDrive with Linux, and his NAS server is updating as soon as he saves a file from his Windows computer to the NAS drive. iDrive takes it away and throws it up on the cloud, and so he's very happy with it right now, with his iDrive and Open Media Vault. But I'm not going to go with Open Media Vault. It's a nice server. It's just not as advanced and have all the features that TrueNAS has.
Yeah, I have iDrive, and I back up once a night to iDrive. It takes about an hour. I got well over a terabyte.
Yeah, if I were to log in here, you would see my cell phone, my Windows computer, my Open Media Vault server. They're all backing up to iDrive, to the iDrive E storage server, and the servers can access the server accesses iDrive directly. I don't interact with it at all. It just handles the backups in the background.
Can you back up an iPhone to iDrive?
Absolutely. You can back up all your picture, have it automatically grab all your pictures. You snap a picture, and 30 seconds later, it's up on your cloud drive.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even realize I have a subscription to iDrive. I've never even thought to put iDrive on my phone.
You can put iDrive on your phone. You can back up your photos, your call logs, your text messages. All of it can get backed up to iDrive. At gmail.com. And let me see if I can remember password. I'm not a robot.
If only you had a password keeper to remember your passwords.
Yeah, the problem is I don't have enough RAM to run the password manager right now. It's just, my machine is just running too slow right now. Task manager is ZoHo meeting is using 22% of the CPU. The virtual machine is quiet right now. It's only at 14%. But the CPU utilization is at 80% right now. So it's just, my machine is just not responding. You know, having a constant CPU load of 78% just doesn't help. Otherwise, I'd be able to show you what it looks like. I need to get off of my laptop and not have all these servers running. But it's pretty neat stuff, and it's all open source, and you just have to learn. So anyway, we'll turn the sharing over to somebody else that wants to pick up where I left off.
Well, I'm having
you're muted.
somebody else's.
Shall we switch to Huey?
I don't have much. I'm just watching tonight. I'm tired.
Don't blame you.
I also am really tired. There's so much going on over here. I talked to a few of you about needing to do something about my high HVAC system, and Mike, your guy came over, gave me a proposal. I wound up talking to Arvin, and he recommended somebody. I had a couple of other people come, and finally I decided that the guy, Arvin's guy, seemed to really want the business. And he convinced me that going for the $8, $10, $12,000 thing with maybe an 18 seer, the difference between that and like a 5,500 14 seer would be just all I needed, because it would take 5 years for payback, and I don't know if I got 5 years. Anyway, they came last Monday, and they had an electrician on their staff, and they said, all right, they would match my lowest price for changing the panel in the garage, because losing the farmer's insurance moving out of the state, I had to find a different insurance company for my cars, and nobody wanted to do the homeowners with the 1975 panel that was in there. The I've forgotten the name of the manufacturer of it, but that was Tuesday. And, you know, we've been in our house 40 years last September, and I have stuff. I have too much stuff, and I had to move tremendous amounts of stuff for them to get to the air handler in the garage. And then the next day I had to move even more stuff so they could get to the panel. And anyway, that's all done.
Good.
I haven't moved the stuff back yet.
What,
It's all very clever.
What's
It's-
secret? What's secret?
It's the Fayetteville and Sylvania panels they haven't replaced.
Pennsylvania, that's it. Thank you. And I wound up
Yeah.
getting a Goodman air conditioner that is just extremely quiet. Seems to be working perfectly. Very happy with it. It's not freezing up, and I had it set for the air conditioning. It was hot, rather hot in here when I was out most of the day. Anyway, working out fine.
What kind of warranty did they give you on the Goodman system?
I'm sorry?
What kind of warranty did they give you on the Goodman system?
Well, it was 1 year labor, 10 years on parts, but they doubled the labor for a year. So I got 2 years warranty. They moved it as well, because where it had been was in the corner between our kitchen and living room, and the roof kind of came together over it, so that the air going up, one of the guys who came and looked at it said, hey, you ought to move that, because you're going to get all sorts of hot air blowing back down on it. That can't be efficient. So they moved it about 4 feet away, and we're just feel like we had enough people come and give us ideas that it was great. But it's just time consuming doing all that, and comparing the notes and trying to remember what they were talking about. The Goodman is US made. The interesting thing, when they came to install it, they started working on the outside unit. When they took the inside air handler off the truck, turned out it was not the right thing. So they had to put it back on the truck and take it to their supplier. And the guy said he first went to Stanford and they didn't have the right thing. So then he had to go down to, I know there's several HVAC wholesalers on the Princeton, I guess 441 Princeton area, and that's not where he went. It was close, but I don't know who their supplier is. But he came back about 2.5 hours later with the right thing, put it in, and everything seems to have worked out.
Good.
Thanks.
About time to do it too, given summer coming up.
For sure.
First, we have an
Well,
overview. What's doing, Forrest? Technically wise.
Nothing.
Well, it's nice to be able to sit back and listen to others, I guess.
Yep, I'm just living off my oxygen about 90% of the time.
Okay, who do we leave off? Jeff, I guess we didn't really hear anything from you, although we checked in a couple of times. What have you got doing technically?
No, I learned a lot tonight. I've been playing with VirtualBox on some machines, but I learned a lot and will be playing a lot. Much of this information was new to me tonight.
Good. Clint.
I got to say goodnight, guys.
See you, Huey.
Yep.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Anything to say before we go, Clint? We put him to sleep. Okay. Well, I think this was a good test of ZoHo. Has a lot of features. It's not as good as Zoom has become, but it looks like it could be a substitute for Zoom if we wanted to use the free version, or even pay $5 a month, which would be $60 a year for the paid version, which is still much less than Zoom is on an annual basis. So something to think about. And we still can go and take a look at Jitsi next time. We can also take a look at the system that we were referred to that Bob G said that he used. I've got that bookmarked. We'll have to check that out. And we'll see what else is around that we want to reevaluate to see if we really want to try something other than Zoom.
I think part of it is strictly, it's different. So you got to get used to it. But the main thing that I really am missing is the closed caption, because I'm, severely, even with the hearing aids, it was difficult for me to pick it up. And of course, when people put stuff into the chat, that works out very well. But it was an interesting experiment. And like you said, Mike, there's a number of other ones that we can look at.
I've got a question. Talking about the functionality of this. When I look at the participants, I got 9 people on the left side of my screen, and I got 9 boxes with everybody's picture. When I close the participants, the participants icon, I'm down to only 6 boxes, 6 people.
There are 3 dots down next to the hang up icon. And when you when you click those 3 dots, it says change layout. And when you mouse over change layout, you can get tiled, which gives you the 9. You can get active speaker, which puts the active speaker on your screen. You can choose sidebar, which puts the active speaker in the large portion of the screen and the others outside.
Where are the dots?
3 dots at the bottom of the screen.
Bottom of the screen, which side?
Right side. If you go down to the bottom, it may pop up. I set mine to always have the controls visible. So the rightmost is a red circle with a telephone in it that says exit.
Oh, on the bottom where all the icons are. Okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah, where the icons are. You click on the 3 dots, which is more, change layout, and you've got a choice of 4. Play with that. Couple different ways.
Mike, the main program that's running this version of ZoHo, it's on their web server, right? It's not on somebody's local machine here, is it?
Just like Zoom, it's a server. Yeah.
With Zoom, it's running from who's ever the host, isn't it? So if they've got a really crappy computer, everybody else is going to have a crappy connection with it, aren't they?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we've seen examples where Huey locks up. The rest of us are just fine, and Huey's the host, and he's got to reboot his computer. come back in. So even the host
Okay.
is still just a client of the Zoom system. It's a client
Okay.
server.
So it is the same as the Zoom then in that case.
Pretty much so. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anywhere where it's superior to what would be in Zoom?
Price is the only thing I can see at the moment. Now, if Zoom were still 100% free without the 40-minute limitation, you'd probably stay with it. Although, you know, as technologists, we kind of like to see what's going on in the world. So I think Stan said that ZoHo had actually been out for quite a while, but I'd never heard of it before we started looking at it.
No, it's been out 10, 15 years, apparently.
So. All right. Well, I've saved.
Zoom is how much does Zoom cost for a year? Is it like $100 or so?
I have to look at my bill. 100 and
Like $20 a month or something.
yeah.
It's only cost us like $5 a person or $10 a person to pay for Zoom.
The Computer Society pays 150, but that's a nonprofit rate, and I think drastically reduced.
I paid for it for about a year because I was doing the Tech for Senior presentations, and I found it easier to use as a recording device than the Camtasia program I've got, which does do very good screen recording, let you put presentations together, and lots of other screen editors out there now. But it was up for renewal, and I just said I don't need it anymore. So I suppose if I were going to do something like this with our family, you know, have the kids and the grandkids and the great grandgirls all on a conference, I'd use something like this. You remember Google Hangouts? That was the whole idea behind Google Hangouts, was to get, you know, friends and family just hanging out and chatting in a multiple screen room, and that's gone. Google dropped that, and then they had Google Chat, Google Voice, whatever.
Worked terrible.
Yeah, I know. I remember that.
Yeah.
They all work terrible except for Zoom.
Yeah. And I haven't used Skype in probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now, but it's still around, still available from Microsoft. Microsoft has segued to Teams, but if you use Teams, you've got to subscribe to it unless somebody invites you into one of the Teams meetings. Our HOA went to Teams for their board of directors meetings, and the association managers, Century Management, pay for the large HOA, multiple HOA Microsoft team groups, so that they can have all their board of directors meetings, which are open to the general public. And it's got heavy duty servers behind it to support that kind of activity, but I don't think it's something that a user group would use.
When's the last time Google Meet was tried?
Years ago.
So I have that as part of my plan, so we could possibly do that sometime.
Sure. So we can all take a look at that. But interesting to try stuff like this anyway, see how it works. So
Yeah,
okay.
we should definitely rotate a couple of programs in.
I'm going to stop recording.